So today I'm going to send the drone up to the Cairn table, the Cairn up there at the top of the table, and let you have a look around. If there's enough battery power left when we come back down, we'll do a wee flight over the Cairn's racetrack and then maybe even Tibby's bridge. So the Cairn table is right up there, so let's head up. Now there are a few different routes that you can take to walk up the Cairn table, and instead of flying as the drone flies today, I'm actually going to fly along the most used route, the one that most people take if they're going to walk up the Cairn table. And it's quite an easy route. There's nothing too difficult about it. It's not particularly steep. The only problem you have is that near the bottom it's quite boggy and marshy, and there's a couple of wee burns you have to cross. Now people have put down wooden footbridges across some of the burns, but there are parts that are quite boggy and marshy that you have to walk through. So if you're going to be taking a walk up this route here, this particular route, this is the shortest route up the steepest side, then make sure that you're wearing some good footwear, at least Gore-Tex level footwear. Otherwise your feet are going to get absolutely soaked. And if you're walking up and you're fairly fit and active, it's about a 45 to maybe an hour walk, depending on the pace you walk at. If you are a wee bit less fit and maybe a bit elderly, it can take you a wee bit longer because you might have to stop a couple of times now you're up for a wee rest. This is the route that I walked up a couple of summers ago, and it's not particularly taxing. I stopped for 5-minute break I think twice on the way up, and it took me about an hour to get to the top. So it's not a difficult route at all. And the view when you get to the top is worth it. It's worth the hour that you spend walking up, the hour that you spend walking down. And as you take a wee flask and a couple of sandwiches, you can have a bit of lunch when you're at the top. And it's a fairly popular walk, especially at the weekends. You can quite often find a lot of people out walking up and down. This particular trail here, the most popular one, will have a few walkers on it. And in fact, I think that's a couple of walkers right there on their way back down. And there are other routes that are much longer routes, but they'll go off up this side here, and it's not as quite as steep, but it's a longer route, and it'll take you longer to get there. And you don't have quite so much of the boggy, marshy mess at the bottom. So if you don't have any Gore-Tex footwear, then maybe you want to take one of the other routes. But once I got up here, I can stay quite far away from the cairn, and then because of the fantastic telephoto lens that I have on this Mavic 3, I can zoom in quite close to the cairn itself and give you a look at it without getting too close. And we'll be there in just a few seconds. And don't forget, if you're watching the 360 version of this video, you can spin the view around to suit yourself and have a look at whatever you want. You don't just have to look at whatever I'm telling you to look at. So that's the cairn there. And it's quite a good flat area here, so you can have a good rest. And as I say, a couple of sandwiches and a cup of tea if you want. So what I'll do is I'll zoom in using the ×7 telephoto lens. Giving you a close-up of the cairn. There, it's right there. And there's, I believe, I don't think it's a sundial, but there's a wee information pedestal there too. It's quite hard to control the drone, the camera of the drone with a x7 telephoto zoom on it. Because the tiniest movement makes quite a big adjustment. So I believe that's a trig point for the Cairn. So I'll switch back now to the standard x1 zoom. And of course, if you're watching this in the 360 version, you won't have had that zoom in there. So what you have to do is, once you finish the 360 version, you have to switch over and have a look at the 4K version from the drone lens itself. So that's the Cairn up at the top of the table. And before we go, I'll spin around and I'll let you see the view that you'll get when that's one of the other routes, going down one of the less steep routes. It's a bit longer, a couple of hours walk on that one, but it's less taxing and less boggy at the bottom. But this is the kind of view you're going to get when you're up here. So it's a nice place to stop and have a wee bite to eat and a cup of tea. Okay, so there you go. That's another route to go down there. In fact, let's fly back down that route, because I think this route might even take us to Tibby's Bridge.
There is no river that runs wide as your goodness. There is no mountain that stands tall as your faithfulness. There is no river that runs wide as your goodness. There is no mountain that stands tall as your faithfulness. And there's nothing else I'll ever need. All of my days your mercy followed me. There is nothing else I'll ever need. All of my days your mercy followed me. Father, you never delay in keeping a promise. There is no wonderful thing that you have withheld from us. Father, you never delay in keeping a promise. There is no wonderful thing that you have withheld from us. You've never been wrong. You've never been wrong. You've never been wrong. You've never been wrong. There is nothing else I'll ever need. All of my days your mercy followed me. Oh, there is nothing else I'll ever need. All of my days your mercy followed me. Oh, in the years that
this is a spot where a lot of the local kids will come in the summer and have a wee splash about in the water. There is some history in Tibby's Brig, but I'm going to leave that up to you if you want to check Wikipedia and look it up for yourself. Because if I was to tell you, give you some history about Tibby's Brig the now, it'd probably be wrong. Because although I did a video about it a couple of years ago, it was before I had COVID and long COVID, and I'm now suffering from memory problems. And this road along here, this is a famous road. It's actually the first road in the world. This one that I'm just going to turn into. In fact, where is that? Is that the wee kind of monumenty thing of the cairn? Right. I'll just show you this while we're here. This is a cairn to John McAdam. Not the inventor of tar macadam, but he put it to use. I'll just switch to the zoom in if I can. Right, you probably won't be able to make that out, but it's a monument to John McAdam, who many think was the inventor of tar macadam. But I think the truth of it is that he didn't invent it, but he developed it, and he used it in a way that no one had used it before. And this road here, this track now, it used to be a road, and it's the first road in the world that was ever had tar macadam laid on it. And you can still see little bits of the tar, but most of it's gone now, and it's just mainly just a dirt track now. Quite a famous road. So we're down to 37% battery. And what I'll do is I'll fly it over to the Cairns racetrack, which is just here. There are no cars racing on it today, so safe to fly over it. I've been here a few times where there have been sports cars fleeing around this circuit. If I'm ever here and there are cars, I might ask them if they would mind if I flew my drone round about and see if I could chase them a wee bit. The answer will probably be no. And of course, I'm not an auditor, so I wouldn't say, well, I'm going to do it anyway from a public place. I'll not do it. If they don't want me to, I wouldn't do it. Right, so 30% battery left. Let's bring the Wallace in. He's all over the place. Switching your view between the screen and the drone can send the drone all over the place. Okay, so that was a flight up the Cairn table, down to see Tibby's Brig, and then over the Cairns racetrack. I hope you enjoyed that, and if there are other places that you'd like to see me going to in Scotland and flying round about, then just leave a wee comment, and if it's within my power to do that, I'll go and do that for you. The other thing to remember is if you're watching the 360 version just now and you've been spinning around looking at your own view, don't forget to have a look at this exact same flight, the 4K version of it from the Mavic 3 camera itself, and you'll be able to see a really crystal clear, beautiful flight. Beautiful scenery. I don't know how beautiful the flight will be, but the scenery is fairly beautiful. So just before we go, have a wee spin round there and show you some of the scenery around the area from this point that I'm standing on. This is what I like to think of as my wee staging area for some of my flights. So the usual battle cry for Windswept Robert, give us a wee thumbs up, don't forget, it helps the algorithm and it makes me a happy Scotsman. So thanks very much for watching, and until the next video, cheerio the now.